the other great thing about that building, again, we lived on a hill. And as sidewalks in the city, they're kind of broken up into squares. So that was the building we used to play. We called it King Queen, but I think it's more commonly known as Chinese handball.
Okay.
So the ball has to bounce first before it hits the wall and come back to you. So each square of the sidewalk was your box, like your line. And since you were on a hill, we called it King Queen because if you were at the tallest box, you were the king all the way down. And of course, the more height you had, the better chance of staying on top. Yeah. So we played Chinese handball against that building. That was the other big thing on that building.
Yeah, I used to play that with you too. And do you remember Joyce and Jeffrey? We would play with them.
And then on the other side of the same building,
we would play monkey in the middle. We wouldn't let him get the ball.
Yes, I was 8 years younger.
Wow, you were so cool, Mom.
On the other side of that same building,
we used to play curb ball too, like stick ball, but with the curb. Like a baseball kind of thing, where you would hit the curb with the ball.
For those who were, I think the more common name of it is stoop ball. Because you would play it against steps.
Against the stoop.
But we would play it with a curb of the street.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the same as stoop ball, but with a curb we played it. So we called it curb ball because we were good with coming up with names. And we also played stick ball with that building being the opposite side.
Yes.
So we broke a lot of windows.
Yeah. I remember running away a lot.
We ran away a lot.
So was it your responsibility to look after Barry?
Of course. I did. So, and there were times when I would have to defend him and what have you. But
oh, there's one vicious story. So, I was playing outside and you came over to watch or supervise, and before you sat down on the step, one of the dudes on the block threw a firecracker, and your mother sat on it, and then it exploded while she was sitting on a firecracker.
Yes, that was the wonderful boy named Bruce.
Bruce
lived in the other building across 681.
You were not happy.
No. There were times when he liked me and he wanted to be my friend, and there were times when he was hateful, and that was one of the hateful times.
I've actually never seen anybody sit on a firecracker besides you.
Oh, thanks. No, it's not something I ever planned on doing, and I didn't sit on it on purpose, because, it's not something I ever strived to.
Mm-hmm.
No. But I still have the little spot there where...
Show it for the camera.
No, thank you.
Ouch.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Yeah.
You were in the middle of telling a story.
She got angry and she told me I had to stop playing, and she wouldn't let me stay. So I was pissed off because I was having a good time.
So you...
Well, I couldn't leave you in the street and then run upstairs and tell Mom what happened.
So then what ended up happening when you told your mom?
She looked at it. She saw the burn on my derriere there. And went to Bruce's house to learn.
She went to Bruce's house?
Yeah.
Wow.
She went across the street to the building, went upstairs to whatever floor they were on, 3rd or 4th, I don't remember which. And of course, the parents were never home, which is, he got away with doing a lot, that kid. But the brother was home, and the brother said he would tell the mom. Nothing ever came of it, except that I have the reminder.
Yep.
Mm. Yeah.
What does Steve think about it?
Well,
Alright, what's the story with the sled?
With what?
The sled.
The sled?
The sled. Devil's Hill.
What story?
Oh, the sled, not Devil's Hill with the real sled. You mean when I picked him up from yeshiva on that very snowy day? Because my mom wouldn't go to get him. She asked me to.
She never went to get me. Ever.
So,
in fact, I rarely, other than going to the park, she didn't leave the house very much.
It was a very snowy winter. And there was a lot of snow on the ground, and it was slippery. And that morning it had snowed again. And I don't think the buses were running or what, because they couldn't get through. Yeah, so she...
but we still had school.
Yeah, they had school. So
and we walked up the hill both ways.
So no, it's not just a hill, okay? We lived on a hill, and then there was a little flat spot, and then there was another hill, and then you went up on Fort Washington Avenue?
Fairview?
Fairview? No. Fairview was by the post office.
Fort George.
Fort George Hill. So his school was on 160...
No, that was Hillside. It was Fairview.
Fairview? Okay. Trying to remember the streets. So his school was like 168th Street. Up there. No?
187?
Oh, right. 187.
That's
Okay.
that's a
No. It's been a long time. But
She's old.
so I had a choice of how to go get him. I could go up our hill and then go
Because we owned it.
the hill where we lived. And then there was another very steep hill. Or I could go on Broadway and there was two very steep hills. So going there was not the problem. The problem was after I picked him up and I got him, we had to figure out going down the hills, because down the hills is a lot harder and worse than going up the hills. And Grandpa, my dad, always said when you're on a hill and it's slippery, you don't go up straight, you have to go sideways on a slant.
Just like if somebody's shooting at you.
Yeah.
So going up the hill,
Was that
I
the
was
analogy
able
he
to
used?
do that, but going
What?
down the hill, we started going down 187th Street, which is the steepest hill of the hills that are by us. And as we're going down, he has the book bag because he just came from school, and so we start going toward the hill, and we see all these people who had tried to go down the hill ahead of us. Not one of them got down standing. Everybody was falling down the hill, and I'm looking at him and me, and I'm trying to figure out how we're getting down. And I see on the side of one of the houses there was this cardboard, a box. So I said to him, I have an idea, and we flattened out the box. And I said, I'm going to sit in front, you sit behind me, hold on. And so we used it as a sled. And we went down the hill, and it worked down the first hill really great. And then other people saw us, and then they were copying us. They looked for a box, these other people, and they also took the box and slid down. Then we had to go down the second part of the hill, which was steep also, but I think we did that one on the slant. But somehow it worked out okay. We were able to get down. We didn't get hurt. We got home safely. Once we were on Broadway, we were on flat land, and then
Yes, I don't think Mom was happy when she heard about it, though.
she was
She thought
worried
we were going to
because of the cars.
sled into traffic.
Yeah, she thought we were going to slide into traffic.
She was so worried that she didn't come. That's how worried she was.
Yeah. But a lot of people.
So one of my favorite stories, which I think Avery's heard a bunch of times, is about the backpack. So backpacks didn't really exist as we know them today.
Oh no! What did Daddy
They
call
were
them?
Rucksacks. Well, but so what was cool for kids to bring was briefcases. So if you were cool if you had a briefcase.
He had a rucksack.
So I'm sure. So my dad found this leather briefcase. It was I think, new. Actually, it might have actually been new.
Probably bought it at a bazaar.
I'm sure. And it actually had straps so that you could wear it as a backpack, which was very unique because nobody else would do that, which is why nobody else bought it, which I'm sure he got it cheap. But anyway, So when he handed me the briefcase and he showed me the straps, and he showed me how to put it on, and he said, "Now your hands are free, so you can fight." This is one of my big memories of my dad.
Did it ever come in handy?
I used to hit people with the briefcase.
He told you to fight, I guess. So you think you could.